Welcome to Gospel Diaries, a platform that offers a unique avenue for artists to share their stories, express their thoughts, emotions, and personal journeys. Today we're in Chicago, Illinois with Billy Always.
Oh man, do you know something funny? When I moved in this building, there's a bass player. He on the same floor that I'm on, and he says, "Are you Billy Always?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh man, you've been singing since black and white TV." Well, I mean, the truth is light, man, and so it is what it is. You know, you can't. Well, my mom used to say, "There's only one way to beat old age. That's to die young." And I missed the boat.
What's going on, Gospel Diaries, y'all? Listen, I'm in the city of Chicago, and as you look at the background, this is Lake Michigan, and I feel so much tranquility sitting here with this legend.
Cut it
to
out.
my left. I'm talking about none other than Mr. Billy Always. He is the godson of Mahalia Jackson. He's worked closely with Aretha Franklin, just like a sister, big sister. Do you consider a big sister or little sister?
Big sister.
Big sister. And I'm talking about none other than Billy Always, and has a tremendous history with the iconic voice in gospel music, Mr. Reverend Isaac Whittmon. Would you please help me welcome Mr. Billy Always? Can I please shake your hand?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
How you
It's
doing?
a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And before we really get started,
Yes, sir.
I just want to say again how much appreciation I have for what you do.
Thank you.
And I don't know how many people pat you on the back, but I want you to know that what you're doing is not only iconic, but it's historic. You're preserving all of these wonderful, wonderful people. Quite a few of them that I was blessed to know and blessed to meet through my cousin, Reverend Dr. Isaac Whittmon, and him being one of them. A lot of them were over his house, they ate dinner, and it's been, the church started in '66, and I'm a founding member of his church. And like I said off camera, he taught me how to sing. See, when I was a boy hanging out with Aretha at the Regal, this was like 62, 61.
Wait, so you talking about the Regal that was on 47?
The real Regal.
See, they don't know about this.
On 47th and South Park.
Yes, sir. Before King Drive.
Yes, before King Drive.
Yes, sir.
and Purvis Spann ran the Regal.
Okay.
And I was there. My mom would bring me over to the Regal, or Aretha would come by with her. She had a manager from Columbia Records, and they picked me up. She was singing for Sock Hops and stuff like that, and she sung it. I remember her singing the St. Anselms and all like that, and I was right there. And then she would do the 3 shows at the Regal. On Saturday, I think they did 4 shows, Friday and Saturday. But I'd be there all day with her. And as she said, there's a footage, I don't know if you saw it, with her talking about those times. And sometimes I'd come from the Evans Hotel, which is where she stayed, the Evans Hotel, historic black hotel. And all I wanted was a ham sandwich. And she would get them for me. Or she'd send Purvis. Or
What, Staples?
no, Purvis Spann.
Oh, Spain, okay.
That's who ran the Regal. That's who booked her.
Okay.
And he's the one that crowned her the Queen of the Blues. This was after Dinah died.
Dinah Washington.
Yes. And so, and there's so many people that I met. I met Albertina right in Aretha's dressing room. But I didn't know who Albertina was. Lola. And Lola Moore.
Okay.
And-
And your name is Willie Lewis Moore.
Yes, yes. And my, actually Mama spelled my middle name wrong because it should be Lois, because my godfather was Reverend Louis Body.
Okay.
Yes.
Greater Harvest.
Greater Harvest.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And so it was my mom. She just knew so many people. And I remember I took a picture with Eartha Kitt. This was further on down the road when I was with Aretha. And my mother's twin sister said, well, did you tell Eartha that you were Lola's boy? And I said, no. She said she would have had a fit. You know, all of these people were kind of relatively unknown. I'm talking about when they were tight with my mom. This was like in the 40s and the 50s and all like that. I've heard stories that Mama and Aunt Lois took Nancy Wilson to get her first real dress. Okay. You know, because my mom was just a dress, and my aunt, they were just dress horses. You talking about Joan Crawford walking in the room? My mom and Aunt Lois, when they walk, I've seen people walk into walls looking at those women. I toured Europe 3 times before I got with Aretha on Billy Always stuff. Willie had a label called Waylo. This was after Al Green. And he just did 1 million singles and a bunch of albums. And the album that did the biggest was Let's Get Personal. It was the #4 soul album of the year in Holland. So I did most of my really big stuff in Holland. I toured the United States, you know, because I had a song called Didn't We Do It, which was #1, all in the South, Shreveport, Memphis. It was on Marquees, the song, of record stops. I can't think of the big record store, but I got a picture of that. St. Louis. I'm thinking all the places that I toured. Davenport, Iowa, Kansas City, and it was just me. I'm talking about packed out places, you know what I mean? So I had a pretty great career. What happened?
Hi, Eric Maurice Clark here, sharing ways that you can support Gospel Diaries. First and foremost, thank you so much for your interest in this platform, and let's support every artist that appears on this program. All right, so we do have a magazine. It's entitled The Gospel Music Gazette, and you can obtain a copy by going to ericmauriceclark.com. That will help us share and help spread our purpose here at Gospel Diaries. Also, you can donate by way of Zelle, Cash App, or traditionally through mail. We do appreciate you, and as I always say, love on someone and you will change your life. Bye. All right, welcome back to Gospel Diaries. Listen, we are with Mr. Billy Always. Like, we don't always get a chance to delve in someone's history like this. That's the godchild of Mahalia Jackson, that works up close with Aretha Franklin and is very dear to his cousin. We all know him, Reverend Isaac Whittmon. Actually, Reverend Isaac Whittmon and James Cleveland were the first ones to be nominated for a gospel Grammy, and that was on the album
The Lord Is My Life.
The Lord Is My Life.
Yeah.
So before we go off into his career, because he's ready to tell us all, we want to delve a little bit more into your early beginning, okay? So let's talk about, so where were you born?
I was born right here in Chicago, Cook County Hospital.
Cook County Hospital. And you were reared in the church, were you?
No. I remember, as I told you, that Reverend Louis Body was my godfather, and Mahalia was my godmother. Okay. I spent all the time, all of my weekends with Mahalia, right in the bed with her. She had this. No, she's a friend of my mom's. This was way before I was born. Okay. See, my mom and C.L. Franklin were a couple. Okay. They were in love for a long time. This is before I was born, and it's all in Aretha's book. Okay. From These Roots, not that other trash. From These Roots is the story and the book that Aretha Louise Franklin wrote about Aretha Louise Franklin, not somebody else. Anyway, I wanted to say that specifically for a bunch of reasons, because the movie And my sister hears me. I know you hear me, baby. The movie and the series and all that stuff was written off of someone else's story, not Aretha Franklin's story. So I just wanted to say that. But from these roots, my mom's picture is in there, and they talked about a whole lot of stuff that I didn't even know, because James was living in the house there. In fact, there was a story in Aretha's book that CL asked Mama to make a peach cobbler, and she made it, and they couldn't find it after church.
Where did it go?
And they looked all over, and James had taken the peach cobbler, eaten the peach cobbler, and put the dish underneath the bed, and CL put him out. I didn't know that. That was in Aretha's book. Okay, so.
Your mama can make a pie that good?
Oh man, my mother could make anything, man. She was an amazing woman. She made all the hors d'oeuvres. She made for the lavish parties that CL had, and the reason that I know that is because my mom owned 7 taverns, well, nightclubs. Okay. And they'd have hors d'oeuvres and different things, and my mom would make it at home. You know, all of those wonderful fancy things. And I remember Mama telling me that she bought CL these big, beautiful linen handkerchiefs. And they were at a party. Now, these are formal parties. And Clara Ward comes up to CL, pulls out his handkerchief and blots her lipstick. And my mom walked up and said, B, I bought that handkerchief.
Now, she was mentioned Clara Ward because, you know, there are a lot of Clara Ward fans. And it's no secret, you know. So how do you perceive, or what's your take on perhaps the relationship of Clara Ward and CL?
Oh, no, that's probably why Mama left him.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it real, dude. I'm gonna keep it real. This is like a family thing. And when my mom was with CL, the church knew they weren't married, but they knew that Barbara, Aretha's mama, Barbara's kids, they could tell the difference. She had school wear, church wear, and she had dressed them to the hilt. Aretha always talked about how my mom did the Shirley Temple curls with the curling irons, and all the class that my mother brought to that household. In fact, this is a scoop right here. Irma was the one that was earmarked for success. She was the one that got the piano lessons. And when the piano teacher left, Aretha would go to the piano playing. And Reverend Franklin, I heard this story since I was born, from, and Mama would tell it in front of Aretha since I was a little boy. CL would come to the banister and say, Aretha, shut up that devilish noise. I'm singing for Lola. Mama is the one. My mother, that says, Frank, that's what she called it. This child is gonna sing. She's got music in her voice. And Mom, I heard that story all my life. And that's what, Aretha wasn't the one that was to sing, it was Irma. Because Irma was singing way before Aretha. I'm talking about professional.
So let's switch gears here, because for some reason I feel it's very
no. Yeah, well, what happened, this is the deal. She was my godmother. At that age, I didn't know what the gold records represented. They were in her house. And I'm like, wow, who has gold records? And I wasn't slow then. I want you to know who I was at 7. At 7, Mama had taught me how to take the L from 63rd and Harvard. That stop isn't even there anymore. 63rd and Harvard, downtown, 5 stops underground. Then you come up at State and Lake. That's where the millinery place was. I'm at 7. I go up, get my mother's hat stuff, because she made hats then. call mama and tell her I got the stuff, and stop at Tad's Steakhouse and get me a steak for $1.25, dude. And then when I finish my steak, I call mama and say, okay, and then go right down. As soon as you come out of there, you go right down and catch the train and come back. This is at 7. At 7, dude. That's what my mama taught me how to do. But see, it was a different world back then in '61. I was about 7 then in '61. It was a whole different world. Whole different world. But so I was responsible, and so I back to Mahalia. I just didn't know what these gold records were, you know, and I saw the pictures on the piano with she and Nat King Cole and stuff from the movie and all like that. Yeah, and Pearl Bailey and all like that. So finally I got it, because she wasn't introduced to me from a baby as she changed my diapers. My mama tell me stories about Mahalia changing my diapers, singing the blues. You know, and she never sang the blues. Excuse me, these are memories. And I brought this because I knew I might be snotting. Like, she do a lot of Creole stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, she was
it good?
Yeah, delicious. Oh, she had people to cook for her.
She had people that cooked for her?
Yes, and people to clean her house at
the house
83rd in Indiana.
Senator Rollins,
I don't know who's got it
okay,
now.
okay.
Yeah, but that's the only house that I stayed in. Yeah, she had people to cook for her. She had secretary, Polly, and then Alan Clark was a nephew. He was a promoter, but he kind of did everything. He drive for, and Alan Clark is the first one that booked they call it the 3 C's, the Caravans, James Cleveland, and the Clouds, the 3 C's. He just cuddled me, and I called her Aunt Mahalia. I never called her Mahalia, but and her secretary Polly, they would come and pick me up after I got out of school on Friday, and then they bring me in, and I think that as I got older, I learned how to type when I was about 10, and I would type out her Christmas cards to her fans. To you know, back to
Really?
Yeah, the envelopes and stuff, you know. And she paid me. Oh yeah.
You have precious memories.
Oh yeah.
Oh, how they linger and they love my soul.
I think I've heard those lyrics before. Yeah.
Oh, precious memories.
Oh yeah. But
So did she ever sing for you?
Oh yeah, she rehearsed there. That's where I met. Well, I always Edward with his crazy self, Edward Robinson. Oh yeah, and Mildred.
You met Mildred.
Yeah.
Please talk about Mildred.
Oh man, let me tell you a funny. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. Mahalia was just a straight up comic. She got into it with Mildred at the White House. This was before I was born, but I heard of her. And Mildred was Mahalia and Mildred, and of course the president and all like that, what was it, Eisenhower, I guess. Anyway, Rock Hudson was there. So Mildred was trying to hit on Rock Hudson, because he was the man of the year. I mean, he was the man. And Mahalia found out about it and went on and said, "Was you trying to work the White House?" Oh boy! And then Mildred said, "This man's over. Well, I'm gonna go out and get me a cab at the White House." Come on, but that's a true story. That's a true story.
So Mahalia was uncut. She was unfiltered. Like she spoke.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah,
So
she
what
was
is
just
this
real.
thing that a lot of people they read this that she always carried her purse. Now she always got her money before she signed. Is that true or not?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't dealing with money and all that kind of stuff. I know Aretha did that. When that purse that was underneath that piano, baby, excuse me. But you're bringing these memories back, and I, you know, I'm holding back tears and I'm laughing. But yeah, that was true with Aretha.
Okay. So back to Mahalia.
Mahalia.
So Mahalia. Okay. So did you ever go to the recording studios with?
No. I did maybe about 3 or 4 different programs because when I started singing, she would promote that. She would let me sing first at her programs, local things around the city. A lot of people that would be, some of the people rather that would be involved would be Reverend Elmer Fowler. He was a friend of hers.
Baptist,
Yes. He would be there, and other people. I was little. I wasn't really paying that kind of attention, but then she did a thing in Aurora, and I got me a background group then. I think I sang "Walk Around Heaven" or something, you know. But anyway, oh yeah, she was very proud of me singing.
So right before we get off Mahalia for now, do you remember Mahalia Jackson's Glorified Chicken?
Yeah.
Tell us what you remember about those two.
Well, it was more like she had not only that, but she had a couple of other ventures, and it would kind of remind you of Kentucky, you know, the original. That's what that chicken kind of reminded you, the taste. And there was another chicken at that time, Chef's Best. Chef's Best. Those chickens were similar.
Now, was there any talk around town like this is an African? She's the first African American in record to start a chicken fast food chain. Like, what did you hear around town? Was there any congratulations or anything?
No, that wasn't happening.
It should have been.
Well, I mean, that's in hindsight. I can't even speak on that, you know. But I will tell you what I do remember, even with the black gospel singers. They didn't respect her as the queen because she sang for white folk.
You're talking real.
Oh, I'm telling you the truth, man. You know, if that's what you want, then you got Billy Always Do. That's what you're gonna get. And so, even though she was generous, because the caravans, Mahalia got to Carnegie Hall and brought the caravans to open up to spotlight the caravans because the caravans were so bad. It's the sort of thing that Aretha did before even she passed. She brought Shirley to the White House and the Williams brothers. They hadn't been there before then. You know what I mean? So, because the scripture says to whom much is given, much is required. And she was very generous. She knew who she was. You know, and the thing that Mahalia had was that anointing. She always read her Bible. That's one thing. She'd be cracking jokes. You know, she'd say to my mama, "You too yawa." You know, and stuff like, "I'm your mother. That's your mammy." You know, stuff like that. You know, and I remember coming from one of the programs, man. Robert Williams was one of her best friends. Robert Williams and Sally Martin. Robert Williams, she rolled the window down and they went into both of them. And I had never seen nothing like that in my life. You know, Reverend Body was my godfather, and I remember Mom taking me there, but when I went, and I saw those people dancing around like Indians, I was hysterical. It was the funniest thing that I had ever seen in my life. But I want you to know,
you one of them today.
I'm one of them today.
You joined that now, that
Oh, hallelujah. Now, we ain't gonna really go there. We ain't gonna really.
Listen, I joined that noisy crowd.
Oh, hallelujah.
Today.
Let me tell you.
Rest in peace, James Lennox. Go ahead.
I told Aretha, now we're going to up front, since we talking about shouting, and then one of them today. My biggest fear was that I get to shouting while I was singing with Aretha. Because we had church. Real church, because she had Rudy Stanfield, she had Daryl Houston, she had Richard Gibbs, and I mean, she had the cats to get what she wanted, because to go there. But see, she'd go from there and then go back to Freeway. Well, I told her, I said, now this is my biggest fear, Aretha. I said, because I can't cut that off.
Come on.
And so, and that's the truth. So it happened one night. We were at, not Carnegie Hall, we were at Radio City.
Okay.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And she got to shouting. And the reason, it wasn't she looked at the audience, she was looking at the wind. She had forgotten everybody was there. The string players, because she'd have the New York Symphony, they were crying and shouting. The security guard was shouting. And there I go. Well, I want you to know when I came to myself, luckily that was the finale, that was the end. The whole audience was empty. And you know, the stage, you only see maybe a third of it because there are several layers of curtains. All of those were back because there are trucks that come on those big stages. Everybody was gone except for Jackie. Percussion, she was right there with me. And I looked around and that was my sister. With the security guys. Now, you know, Elvis is the first one to leave the building. So when Aretha leaves, but she did not leave until I got myself together. I never will forget that.
Wow.
And I brought that, I told her about that. She waited. And so when they diagnosed her with pancreatic cancer, this is around Albertina's funeral, she said, Billy, I haven't told nobody but 3 people. Bishop Paul Morton, Karen Clark, and you. She said, because I know y'all know the Lord. And I want you to know the Lord kept her almost 9 more years after the prognosis. And we just be shouting and stuff all over the phone and stuff. And even with the bad news, when they gave them something hopeful, and then they take it back, and it would be such a letdown for them. But I remember one time, she wasn't a crier, not like me. She's like, man, I was really, you know, that kind of thing, the disappointment. But I called that girl, I said, let me tell you something, girl. And it went on her voicemail. I said, baby, we know who the doctor is. So, I don't care what they say. We know who the doctor is. And she said, boy, she said, I listened to that thing about 15 times. Because she knew that we knew who the doctor was, and that's who kept her. And it was right before the world's very eyes, and they said crap like, oh, she just had her stomach done, or she had this done, or, you know. And she was telling them all the time, what, you know, without telling them. You know what I mean? It was the most amazing thing that you'd ever want to see.
And it's like the world felt the impact of her death. So how was the impact of her death for someone as close as you?
I can't describe it. I mean, it was about 5 years. I couldn't even listen to an Aretha record. I couldn't. I've lived with Aretha, I mean, that was my sister, man. We talked about everything.
Wow.
What I know, I could buy this building if I decide to talk about it. With what I know, I know where all the bones are buried. But baby, that was my sister. And it'll die with me.
Let's talk about loyalty. What is loyalty to you?
Loyalty is love. Let's talk about love. Love is the key. And
You're gonna make me cry, man. I wish the world can see that, man. That's what's missing. Like, why can't we love one another?
well, first of all, we have to
Unconditionally.
love ourselves.
Thank you.
We have to love ourselves, man. These people, they say anything and everything to their mamas. The mamas say any and everything and do any and everything in front of the kids. It's appalling. And this is a conversation that I would have with Aretha. I said, man, I feel like an alien because we were raised so differently. I don't ever remember cussing in front of my mama. And I've said some cuss words. Okay?
True.
But not to my mama.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what these people do, it's just appalling, man. It's just unbelievable how this narcissistic society, and that's why we have a narcissistic head. Let me say that. Because we voted in a narcissist. And so quite a few people did that.
Yeah.
You know, so now let's see how that works for you. Yeah, right, because it starts with yourself. How do you feel about yourself? You know, it's some things that I just will never, ever do because of me. It doesn't have anything to do with you.
Right.
They're just some lines that I will never cross.
Hi, Eric Maurice Clark here, sharing ways that you can support Gospel Diaries. First and foremost, thank you so much for your interest in this platform, and let's support every artist that appears on this program. All right, so we do have a magazine. It's entitled The Gospel Music Gazette, and you can obtain a copy by going to ericmauriceclark.com. That will help us share and help spread our purpose here at Gospel Diaries. Also, you can donate by way of Zelle, Cash App, or traditionally through mail. We do appreciate you, and as I always say, love on someone and you will change your life. Bye.
Welcome back to Gospel Diaries. Listen, okay, we've talked about Mahalia Jackson. We talked about Aretha Franklin. Of course, we might get back into those topics, but there's someone that's really dear to me. I hold him very sacred in my heart, and that's none other than the Reverend Isaac Whittmon. His music, to me, is the soundtrack of the church, of the Baptist church, right in the hub of the 70s and the 80s. And you just heard so much rich singing from all of his albums. So I would like to take this time to really pay homage to him, to delve a little bit into his history with Mr. Billy Always. So let's talk about your relationship with your cousin.
Okay, well, it goes back. His grandfather and my grandmother were siblings, in Arkansas. Okay. When I met Isaac, and I call him George Winfield, because that's his grandfather's name.
Okay.
I was about 8 or 9. What happened is my mom was making robes for the choir Redeeming Church of Christ. Bishop Anderson.
Okay.
Bishop James L. Anderson. And so I was just digging the choir, and the choir rehearsal, I was feeling it. And just to know that my cousins, both his sisters sang, and Reverend, and then I got to meet the Clefs of Faith and his group and stuff, that they were rocking. I wasn't singing, but I had been to the Regal with Aretha, all of those, and I knew what singing was. And through Mahalia, my godmother, you know, and stayed with. So I knew what singing was. So Reverend, he says, we were upstairs, there was a Pepsi machine up there. And I think Pepsis were maybe a dime, 15 cents.
Wait, now are Pepsi's better than Coca-Cola?
I'm not a cola drinker.
Okay, so you can, okay.
But Reverend drinks Pepsi.
Okay.
So anyway, he gives me this dime, go get, little boy, go get me a pop. So, you know, we're respectful. So I go get him a pop and put the can of pop there. So he says, so tell me how you and my cousin. And I went all the way back to the 1800s because I have read the family Bible. From me being down in Arkansas, that's where our family Bible was. I saw where he was born, where my mama was born, and his mama was born, and all like that. And so you'd have thought it was finding your roots. So from that initial meeting, that gave him a whole different look about this little boy. You know, because I gave him a lot of information about who he was. And then, so this was like around 64, 65, 66 when so we had joined Redeeming. And I was in the youth choir. Miss Josephine Maddox, Leonard Maddox's grandmother was my youth choir teacher.
Okay.
I'm told that Janice White was in the choir, but I don't really remember her. But this was 20 East 45th Street. And so when Mama told me, she says, well, you know, your cousin Isaac is going to start his church. So I think he needs us more than Bishop Anderson. So we went and we had we joined at Reverend Yancey's church.
Fountain of Life?
Yeah, Fountain of Life, Marvin Yancey's daddy.
Okay.
And so that's where we had our service. And
Whittmon was holding service at Fountain of Life? Okay.
Yeah, our first service.
No, can you tell me what year? You remember what year?
Oh, this was 66.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Leroy Dudley had a church across the street. We had a couple of services over there.
Leroy, is that the organ player?
Piano
Okay.
Dudley. And so then we found a church over Mother Meacham's 2435 South Cottage Road. And right across in the same building was the Reverend Brookins. And he had a broadcast. And we had this because of Reverend Whittmon being who he was, we had a killer choir, man. Isaac Douglas would come and teach us. Our organist was Bobby Bolton.
Wow.
And Jesse Dixon and would come and sing with his group. You know, we had programs there.
Wait, do you Bobby Bolton used to play for the Duncanairs? Yeah.
I was a
it's a lot going through my head.
So that's who our organist was. And so now Herman Lutlow would cover. He's from the Clefs of Faith, but he would cover if Bobby didn't show up. Wow. So we had a musician because we had an organ and a piano. Now I remember Father Hayes coming up there, and when we started, and Father Hayes just said, "Whittmon, just get a few chairs, and, you know, because you know, in case if this don't work out for you." And Reverend said, "No, we're gonna do this." You know, in other words, I'm paraphrasing. So we moved from there to a church in the pocket, 1307 and 09 East 70th, and Reverend was living there because he had this great apartment in South Shore, but he had to give that up to live in a small little, a makeshift that he made in there. And so what happened was, when he had everything on that side, it was like the church dining room, we had a beautiful little edifice, but the church dining room, and then he had a couple of rooms, 3 rooms. He had his bedroom, he had his office, and he had his living room, you know, which was partitioned off, which he built that. And so what happened was, he had friends, and I'm not going to call these Negroes names because they're dead. Okay. But they would go and hang out with James every time James would come in town. And then they would come to Reverend, and Reverend would cook breakfast for him and all like that. Oh, me, James said this and And so Reverend said, well, why don't y'all ever bring James over here? You know, because James used to play for Temple of Divine Science when Reverend was in the choir there.
Yes, sir.
And so there's him, oh, he was too busy. Dude, I'm going to tell you how lies catch up with you.
Come on.
Reverend was at the one of the first workshops I think it was in New York, and Reggie was with him, Dr. Reginald Mitchell. And so James approached Reverend and said, yeah, you too grand, don't nobody know who you are. Reverend said, James, everybody knows my number. Everybody knows, and these specific two people, he said, they come over to my house and eat. And then Reverend Cleveland was so angry, they almost got into a fight. And so
this is a true story.
This is a true story, dude. And so Reverend said, wait, James, now you can't talk to me like that, dude. You know what I'm saying? And so he called Brother Mitchell. He said, tell him. And Brother Mitchell came and told him, well, no, James, I told him that those two people weren't his friends. You know, they got together. James came. He had a black diamond mink coat on, this little church in the pocket, and recorded Reverend Whittmon. And everybody in the city was wondering, how did that happen? You know what I'm saying?
Were you at that recording?
Yeah.
It was live, right?
No,
okay,
no, it was a studio record. You know, that's when they.
So is that the blue album, the blue cover? Because The Lord Is My Light is the second one, right?
Right, that's it, that he's working it out.
Okay, right, okay.
Right now,
come on,
God is working it out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got no petition.
Hey, come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, if y'all don't know Reverend Isaac Whitney, y'all, just do a soft Google search and listen to some of his music. Oh my God, God bless you. Jesus Christ.
But let me tell you a funny story. They could never get a handle on Reverend Whitman because the Holy Ghost was on him. And I'm going to tell you what happened. When he was a little boy, Cousin Ruth was at church. They were gambling. They had a dice game going on in Reverend's house. I'm talking about Aunt Ruth's house. I call Aunt Ruth because she's closer to me than my real aunts. She's really my cousin, Reverend's mama. So when she was, she said she put a quarter in the offering. Now that we talking about way back.
Yeah, we got to be talking about a quarter in the offering.
Right. She said, Lord, and that was her last quarter. She said she was looking for a blessing. She said, give me a sign. She said, give one of my children the Holy Ghost. They say Reverend got to shout. He was about 7 years old. And the whole dice game, everything just cleared out. They couldn't do nothing with it. And from that point on, when he would be waiting on the bus stop to go to school and all like that, couldn't nobody mention church. Couldn't nobody mention Jesus. Because he'd go to shouting and he'd be late for school. And he couldn't stop. And this went on for years.
Wow.
When he was singing with the Southside,
Willie Webb
in the community choir, and with
True Light.
No. With Chester Beatty.
High Park.
Okay. Couldn't nobody do nothing with it. There'd be filled up 1,500 people. He said that Dorothy Norwood was on the program. And she told him, she said, listen, if y'all don't call me to sing, call me before you call that little bow-legged child to jump up and down. Say, because when he get through singing, ain't gonna be nobody to sing to.
You know, it reminds me of when James the trip down memory lane when he called him up there to say, "Don't wonder about him."
Oh yeah.
Because God works a wonder. Because he said the Reverend, he said, "You are energetic and you're the one that can do this song."
But let me tell you about that. Since we're talking. Now James was staying at Reverend's house, Whittmon's house. None of those Negroes would come.
You talking about to that program? Yep.
None of them.
Okay.
He was there, he had the truck ready, he was ready for the rehearsals with Fred Mendelssohn. None of them, and all of them said, "No, I ain't going, because James is gonna make all the money."
Okay.
Reverend told James, took him up to his living room and said, "Just leave me alone." He got his phone book, he called Dolores, he called Albertina, he called all of them. That's why they showed up. And I'm going to tell you, he saw Gloria Griffin at Jewel's at the store, and told her to just show up with black and white, and that's how she got there. And so she wrecked the whole place. I was on tour. I had to go. I was on tour doing my Billy Always thing.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't there.
Okay.
But at the end of it, James said, "Whittmon, you the cause of this session." And that's why that happened. I'm gonna tell you something else. The record I really love, no, what is it? Larry Robinson.
Yes.
What's the song his wife sang?
Are you ready? Or no, I love Jesus
I
more
Love
today.
Jesus. Fred Mendelssohn was mixing at P&S Studios. I was with Reverend P&S Paul Serrano.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Great cat, Libra. Reverend had told Larry to bring that record to P&S and he would give it to Fred. Reverend Dr. Isaac Whittmon gave the record to Fred Mendelssohn. And that's why they put it out. And when he got up after it happened, he thanked Albertina. Albertina didn't have nothing to do with that. Now, Albertina was my brother's godmama. And I love me some Albertina. It wasn't about no gospel. My brother had Down syndrome. And I'd have to tour. Albertina and her sisters took care of my brother while I could go work and make some money.
Now let's talk about.
So I'm just telling you, I'm not casting no aspersions on Albertina. Because me and Tina was tight, baby. But Tina wasn't the one that made that record for Larry Robinson happen.
And Bishop Larry Roberts, we love you. Thank you for your contributions.
He knows I love you. You know what happened. And you know I'm still around here to tell it.
Now, listen, speaking of that, so you've been in the church, you were with Reverend Isaac Whittmon, but the thing is, if I don't recall this right, Reverend Whittmon, he brought his club, his group into the club.
Oh yeah, they were singing. This was in the
right.
This was like the early '60s, man. This was like Rush Street, the Gator Horn with artists like Judy Collins.
Yeah, okay.
And this is, you know what? What's the big movie that won all the Oscars about? Man, I'm old.
No, you're not.
I am. Excuse me for snot, y'all, but I don't do drugs, so just so you know. When you talking about all this stuff that God done brought you through, I came ready.
Okay.
But when you're talking about Judy Collins and Joni Mitchell and all those kind of people, folk artists, the Clefs of Faith had an agent, Jade Enterprises. Melba Caldwell was their manager. And so they booked them in and they would light them up. White folks. You know, and it wasn't nothing but what he did at church. You know, how they had routines. Now, the unique thing about the Clefs of Faith, when the caravans would come off the road, in the wintertime, they would have their anniversary program. They would have the Clefs of Faith to open them up because Albert, they all love the Clefs of Faith. Just like we love the Caravans, and Albertina would say, y'all want to hear the Caravans, but we want to hear the Clefs of Faith. You know, and all of the Caravans had the hots for the Clefs of Faith.
So let's call the roll before we move on. So we got Herman Ludlow,
Fairchild, you had Isaac Whittmon, you had Kenneth Gunn,
yeah.
And there was
there's another one.
Kenneth that played the piano.
Not Kenneth Collins.
Okay,
was it Kenneth Collins?
No.
Okay.
No, he played for Alex Bradford, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was with Alex, and he was with Father Hayes, and he went to Redeem.
Great guy.
Really good.
Kenneth, the tall
Kenneth Collins.
Right. When you said Redeeming, I thought of Kenneth Clark, who used to direct the
No. Yeah. Collins.
Right,
he was a singer. He sang with Michelle. Michelle, the one from Cosmo. They did God's Tomorrow together.
Yeah, and he did. He sang with the Raspberry Singers too.
Yes, he did. The Clefs of Faith up because you were in the church, and apparently because a lot of people, they say you shouldn't hobnob or mix secular and sacred. So you got a chance to see secular and sacred in a sense like being mixed, but then again, you go in the 80s and you create this wonderful name for yourself. So what gives you this push to say, you know what, it's okay. I can explore this secular side and still be okay with God?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. You can't be saved but one time. And once you're saved, you sealed. Because see, a lot of Christians don't know this until the day of redemption. You just have to keep your confessions up to date. But I'm going to tell you something, man. Singing love songs, there is a line. Back to that line. There's some things that I will not do.
Really? Like what?
Huh?
Like what?
Like a lot of stuff that these people are doing. Taking all their clothes off and doing any and everything and saying any and everything. I talked about love. You know, Calvin Bridges wrote a song on my first Waylo album. When love's knocking, knocking. Open the door to your heart.
Wow.
You know, if you look in the Book of Solomon, there's a whole lot of heavy stuff in there. You know, you talking about women's breasts. Well, God made that too, didn't he? He made all of that. So I have never been, you know, some preachers and churches, they try to contain you. Reverend Dr. Isaac Whittmon has never done that. Because he knew that I would not allow it. First of all, that my mama wouldn't allow it. I got my template from Lola. You know what I mean? And so I was never in a small place. I've always seen the world, and that's where the Lord wanted me to be. If I don't get it, that means you didn't give it to me.
Right.
And that's where I was coming from. So everything that I got, I've been to the White House 4 or 5 times.
Right.
What Rosetta Tharpe say 4 or 5 times? You don't know nothing about that.
Well, 4 or 5. Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got in my house. I got the 78. I collect
4 or 5 times.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Now you telling your age. And speaking of Rosetta Tharpe, I looked it up. There's no history of her having a daughter, but she did, because she taught me in 3rd grade. She had a daughter, and her daughter's name was Rosetta Tharpe. But she didn't like her mama. I was perceptive enough to know that, and I saw Miss Tharpe at another school way later. I was driving, and I stopped, and Miss Tharpe, and of course we were older, but she didn't, you could tell that there was a divide in the family, and I tried to Google her, Rosetta Tharpe's children, there's nowhere that I could find her daughter, but she did have a daughter.
Wow.
And her daughter's name was Rosetta Tharpe.
Wow. Wow.
I even tried to Google the school I went to.
What's the
the
name
teachers,
of it?
Lewis Chaplin,
Okay.
which was right behind Inglewood.
Mm.
My mother's tavern was on, one of them was on 63rd, 337 West 63rd Street.
Wow.
And I went to Antioch Church, Dr. Daniels.
Stewart. Daniel. Yeah.
Daniels, yeah.
So we have to know. So when you signed your first contract, your first record contract, what did that entail, and how did you learn the industry, and what did the industry look like at that particular time?
Oh man, I knew the industry by the time I had signed my first contract because I had written 2 albums with Barrett Strong, the guy that sang Money,
Mm-hmm.
and he had written all this stuff with Norman Whitfield for the Temptations from from I Wish It Would Rain to Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that was my professional entry into the business. I wrote 2 albums on Capitol, Stronghold, and which was recorded in LA, and Live and Love, which was recorded in Mississippi. And Dorothy Moore was the first artist. Jackson 7 years
Wow,
ago.
yeah.
With Tommy Couchon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
So your first contract, was that with Epic Records or was
no, that was after Waylo.
What was the first
It was with Waylo Records. Yeah, Waylo Records.
And then, so how did you get to Epic?
Well, one of the brother, he's my brother. He's a minister down in Chattanooga, Dr. Bernie Miller. He was a DJ here in WJPC, and Charles Sanders hooked us up. Charles was the managing editor of Ebony,
Mm-hmm.
and Charles was trying to get me going because I met him at Aretha introduced us in New York at the Kennedy Center,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I met Sidney Poitier. And he was really, when I had a gig, I went and did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I came home. I had my brother. When my mom died, my brother had Down syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
So I took care of my brother. That was my priority.
Okay.
And my mom died in 77. And so that's why I kind of, with Albertina and Rose and Irene, her sisters, they just kidnapped my brother. And they would do that. They did that before my mama died.
Mm-hmm.
They just take him and those are the only people that I trusted my brother with.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'd have to tour, I didn't have to worry about my brother. That was always my priority, my brother. And my brother passed in 84.
Wow. That's the same year I was born.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what did your international travels look like? Like, how did people receive you
Oh
internationally?
man, they had to, excuse me, audience, like I said, I'm snotting it now. I don't know if I'm allergic to something, but anyway, they had to, every tour that we did, the fire department almost had to close everything down because there was too many people. We did the Paradiso town in Amsterdam, the Town and Country in London, and not just London, but all through England, Leeds, Manchester, and all through Holland. Hilversum, Utrecht, and all of those places. And the places were like no seats.
Mm-hmm.
And the I remember the fire department was always there to possibly close the show down.
So are the fans shooting out numbers like Little Misunderstanding or Show Me That? Like, what are the fans saying?
Oh, no. I wasn't there by myself.
Okay.
I was there with Otis Clay.
Oh.
Otis Clay, Ann Peebles. It was the Memphis Soul Night. And so the first tour, Willie and I had kind of fallen out because I went to Epic. And he wasn't pleased with that. So the first Memphis Soul Night, he didn't invite me on. And so all of those people were doing songs that I had written, but I wasn't there, you know. But the second time around, he remixed an old album that had been in the can forever, and it became the #4 solo. When I say of the year, #4 solo, that's over Prince, over Anita Baker, all of the hot artists of the year. I was #4. They were like #6 and you know. And so what I did was, I went over there, made a ton of money, came back, and then they asked me to come back by myself. And I came back twice and did an album in Belgium, in Brussels, that has never been released. In fact, I got it on my shelf.
Wow. Billy, you've been all over the world.
Yes.
You've been in the church. You sang behind Aretha Franklin, Sisters for
And with her. I did 16
And she
duets.
produced one of your singles or one of the albums, did she?
No.
Okay.
No.
It was a write-up that's okay.
Everything that she produced, man, it never came out.
Oh, so, but she did produce it, just never came. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was when I was 14.
Wow.
Yeah, and
So
Sissy's singing on it, Sissy, the Sweet Inspirations.
Oh, Sweet Inspirations.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all of these things, Mahalia didn't teach me how to sing. Aretha didn't teach me how to sing. Isaac Whittmon taught me how to sing. No, don't do that. Do that. Hey, oh yeah, you gonna sing tonight. I don't feel, oh yeah, you gonna sing tonight, you know. And I've been singing ever since. So, a Negro like that, and never asked nobody for nothing. And he's truly an anointed man of God. So here's an opportunity. He falls ill. I told him, I said, okay, listen, church, y'all do this. He'd already said who he wanted to take over his church. Made it perfectly clear. Reverend Darnell Whittmon. I said, you do that. This is right after COVID. So don't worry about him. I'm going to take care of him. And that's what I'm doing. Today is my last week on my job, because I've always had a job. A real job. Because I like money. And I don't ask nobody for nothing, aside from a career, you know. And I would venture to say that just from my catalog and my royalty checks are still I'm getting monies from the 70s and the 80s now. You know, I did the Bonnie Raitt thing. When they shipped it double platinum, and it won the Grammy for the album of the year for '95. They also had it in the Tom Cruise movie, The Firm, and just songs that
It sure was.
Yeah. It's the only R&B song in the movie. That's when he was telling her what was going on at the restaurant. It was the guy singing. Yeah. I went to that movie, and Reverend and I watched till everybody had emptied out the theater so I could see my name on the silver screen for writing that song. You know, so back to Whittmon. This cat, like I said, has given so much. People are in houses because he showed them how to get a house. He was never a containment person. You know how preachers try to contain you? You know, no. So I didn't have any hassle with him, me being out there on the road and all like that, because as soon as I got paid, I was on the first thing smoking while everybody else in the group was resting to come back to put my robe on. Because I know that only what you do. That's what I'm saying.
Before we end, I do want to pay homage to, I think it was Bishop Bernard McKenzie that had the program.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Bishop, he's the only one, as Muhammad Ali would say, the only one He called me up and said he wanted to do this. That just did something to my heart. So I waited for Reverend to have a really good day in comprehending. I said, Reverend, I said, now Mackenzie wants to do blah, 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 blah. He said, Bill, let them do whatever they want to do. So I waited. I waited like 3-4 months. And then I brought it to Reverend Dr. Whittmon again. He said, yes, okay, Bill. Then I gave him the okay and gave him the list of people because everybody loved Reverend Dr. Whittmon. Okay, that's no. That's Reverend Darnell Whittmon, who's watching Reverend while I do this interview. He's the only one out of our whole family that's involved. He's the only one. Him and my cousin Jackie that's ever been involved. Now I'm gonna tell the truth and shame the devil. And that's all right. Because we don't need nothing. That's how God fixed it. That's how God fixed it. We don't need nothing. I'm like, no, I'm going to take care of this.
So Reverend Isaac Whittmon, for the record, Reverend Isaac Whittmon is taken care of.
Man, he's doing fabulous. He's doing fabulous.
It's beautiful.
And I'm going to tell you, no, he's fine. He got Alzheimer's, but he's doing fine.
He eats. He sleeps.
Man, let me tell you something. He eats crab legs and order from at least every week, once a week. And I order, he likes Alice's barbecue.
Yes.
I keep 2 or 3 slabs there for him in case Alice won't deliver. Anything he wants every day. Not just one day, every day. This dude lives like a king every day. That's how we roll. And it ain't nothing but God's favor.
I have to ask you this before we go. So what's in the future for Billy Always? And when did you start using that pseudonym? Well, I know Billy is a nickname for William, but where did the Always come from?
Aretha.
Okay.
Aretha. It's in I think Ebony magazine back in '71. She named it. I just held on to it. I kept it.
Love it.
That's where it came from. And she spun it on me at that penthouse. We were going up to the 39th floor. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you a young man that I feel will be around for a long time. Billy Always. Told me.
What can we expect in the future from Billy Always?
Man, let me tell you something. The sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. Because I'm still singing, I'm still writing, but my priority is my family.
Yes.
Just like I told you, everything went around with my brother who had Down syndrome, my only brother. And I was shocked that people like they just knew I was gonna put him in a wait, what? Are you crazy? It's my only brother.
Right.
I need him more than he needs me. And it was my only way to thank my mother for everything that she gave me.
I love it.
Was to finish raising, and I kept my brother for 9 years until he passed.
Wow.
And if he was here today, his funeral was packed, man. Reverend Woods, all of them, oh no, we love Champ. That's what they call him, Champ. His name was Andre. And he just had a way about it.
Wow.
He just had a way about it.
And on that note, Billy Always recorded a song by Gregor Quinn. I think it's a very relevant song for today. I Told the Storm. And your rendition, when I heard it, First, because you have the original, it's embedded into your head.
Yeah.
So it takes a moment to allow a different interpretation, especially, something that's more on a secular, it has more of a secular feel in a sense.
Yeah.
But when I listen to that thing, it just get down in my soul. So thank you so much for your rendition of that song.
It's the thing, it's the only song that Aretha said to me. She never called me number little nigga. She said, I don't listen to no song 10, 20, 30 times back to back. And what I had realized then was that I had produced something that was ministering to her. She didn't help so many people through. And I was satisfied. She started calling me Doctor Always. All right, Doctor. I mean, and she just went on and she knew every line, every run.
Man, it's powerful.
And the difference is when the girl sang, she was telling you that she told the story. Mm-hmm. In my rendition, I'm talking to the story.
Come on. Yeah.
I'm talking directly to it.
Directly to it. Mm-hmm. And ladies and gentlemen, before we go, I want you all to check it out. So he has a version of it. He sang it at Inez Andrews' funeral. And it is a wonderful rendition. And as I always say, we're about to get up out of here. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I'm good. I think I told you too much.
So as I always say, love on someone and change your life. We'll see you guys later. Tell the people bye.
Au revoir. Old people shake hands. Y'all fist bump. Y'all fist bump.
See y'all later.
Who's my way?